What famous rapper's real name is Calvin Brodus?
We're just getting into it. No intro.
No, this is the second one in a row. Yeah, you missed it last time.
I remember
no one ever
saying
said
there wasn't going to be an intro, and it caught me off guard.
Caught you off guard today, didn't it?
Yeah.
We're just getting right into business.
I have absolutely no idea the answer to this trivia question.
Oh yeah, Calvin
Just
Brodus.
Zero. Calvin Brodus.
He was a rapper in the '90s. I'll give you that. But he's still
Okay, wait. Is it the?
You got this.
The Just a Friend guy?
No. Biz Markie, who just passed.
Yeah, it's Biz Markie.
It's not Biz Markie, no.
Damn.
No, do you want me to tell you it?
Yeah.
It is Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg's
Really?
real name is Calvin Brodus.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I actually feel like that's one I should have known.
No, yeah, I feel like it's a well-known fact. I've heard it before. I wouldn't have known if someone asked me it, though, but I do. I knew his name was like kind of dorky. But so let's get into the thing we said we were going to talk about first. Is what are you drinking today, Jeff?
So this is it's a local cola from Brittany, France. And I don't know how to pronounce it at all, which I think is a marketing issue for the cola as a whole. They only sell it in Brittany, but if they ever tried to expand, I think that they'd have a problem because
they're getting the plug.
How do you pronounce this?
That's Braze Cola.
So for anyone listening to the audio only, it's BREIZH Cola.
Yeah. I feel like that's a thing in Europe though. I see Z and H next to each other a lot in Europe. I feel like it should. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's pronounced sh, like Braish Cola.
Yeah.
Braish,
Now
Cola.
I don't want to gloss over the fact that you just said you see Z and H a lot in Europe, which notoriously has many languages.
Yeah, I just I.
But yeah, I'm just gonna take a quick sip of that Braish Cola from Brittany.
Nice cold glass of Braish. I'm gonna take a sip of my water too while we're on it. It's hot. It is really humid out there. I don't know is it that bad in Europe? Or...
So it's actually kind of cold here. It's been in the 60s.
We just haven't been linked up with weather in a long time.
No,
Jeff,
yeah.
Because when it was cold, it was blistering hot. Is blistering the right word for hot? Or
yeah, sure,
was it
right?
Cold? I've heard it both for cold and hot. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Florida,
although blisters are more from the UV index from getting a sunburn.
Yeah. Which speaking of, I'm really burnt on these.
You went to the beach?
I went to my cabin and forgot to put on sunscreen. And it was just a lot of laying out in the lake up there. Anyway.
A lot of laying out. It's very alliterative.
No one says that swimming like that. No, but I was laying out.
A lot of laying out at the lake.
Yeah, celebrating the 4th.
Yeah. Now, I didn't celebrate the 4th.
No, because you're in Europe.
Because I'm in France and no one cares.
No one cares.
Yeah, it's just like a day here.
So that's damn. I felt and I was up north away from everybody, but there were a lot of people up there too because people go to their cabins on the 4th. And I just felt like people took it seriously this year for some reason. It just felt like there was something in the air about the 4th. But
fireworks, probably.
Yeah. Jeff's on it today.
Which it is 2 a.m. here.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wait, are you actually... Oh, that it is. Jeff, I'm so sorry. Holy shit.
No, this was my fault. Now, I want to say that we recorded an hour late. I was going to already do it late, right before I went to sleep. But we did it a full hour later than I anticipated because I had the time difference wrong because I forgot that you were East Coast time.
Yeah. Oh man, that's
gotta
miss
I
it.
gotta talk to my parents. They're on one time zone.
Yep.
My buddy Karsten's on another time zone.
Yep.
Presumably other people are on other time zones.
Right. Friend of the pod, someone who lives in LA. I don't know. We have a few friends of the pod in LA.
I mean, my sister lives in LA, so that counts
your sister, your brother in Austin.
That's your time zone, though.
Yeah, that's my time zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's so fun because we're a day late. First of all, this podcast episode was supposed to be up yesterday, and hopefully I get it up tonight. Big bang outside. But this just says so much. That's like it took us this long to record this, and we're still doing it at a very inconvenient time for you.
Yeah. Also, eagle-eyed viewers, not listeners, if you're listening to this, you will not know, but I am not wearing a hat while recording this podcast for possibly the first time since we got the hat merch.
I was trying to figure it out. I was like, something's weird about Jeff today, and it's like, you're not wearing this. I'm seeing your hair. That's that's what's weird about him.
Which this was just to prove to everyone that I do have hair.
Yeah, it's not just
something. You just gotta prove it sometimes, you know.
Yeah. Got a good head of hair.
Thank you. Yeah,
mine is,
I mean, you know, you have a good head of hair as well. I mean, that's one of the features of this podcast is both hosts. We have hair, and I want to say there's obviously nothing wrong if you don't have hair.
Yeah.
It's just that we do.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say my great point, Jeff. My hair is in really bad shape. I brought this up on the last episode, but there's been no update. It honestly feels like it's getting worse. I think I'm gonna just go get a haircut and ask them.
You're talking about it like it's a plant. You're like, yep, the hair, see, it's the ends or the tips are still dying.
It is. It's just there's no improvement. It looks terrible.
It doesn't look terrible. Get out of here.
I gotta get in there. Let's see. In the news this week, I thought this was funny. Well, actually, before we get into the news, are there any update? Because last time we talked about Europe, you had just gotten there, and you've been there for a while now. Like, what's?
I've been here for
been?
like maybe 9 days.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a lot of Rennes or Rennes as is. Yeah. It's close enough to the French pronunciation.
Yeah.
It's an interesting city.
That's cool.
I haven't really had the chance to go to like some of the surrounding areas. So before I leave the area, I'm gonna try to go to the coast because it's like an hour away.
Yeah. Isn't Normandy kind of close? Or
kind of. Yeah, I'm gonna figure out where exactly. I know there's a couple like beach towns that you're supposed to visit in this area.
Nice.
But the weather's not been great.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I mean, it's close to England, and it's called Brittany, so it makes you think the weather is
Britannish.
Britannish, yeah. It's Brittany, some would say.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Yeah. I'm glad to know you're having a good time, not celebrating the 4th.
And being indoors half the time because of all the rain.
Yeah.
But other than that,
really solid.
Couldn't ask for anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, where else could I have gotten Bresh Cola? Bresh. I mean, as we've established, literally nowhere else can you get this cola.
Yeah. Only in Brittany.
And here's the thing. It's almost as good as Coke.
Wow.
It's not quite
just slightly worse. It's
like 90% as good as Coca-Cola.
Yeah. It's only stayed in Brittany.
I would even go as far as to say the reason it's not taken off is the name more than the taste.
Yeah. No one's going to want to order that.
Is a compliment, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of Brittany, let's talk about Britney Spears. It's not good news. I don't know if you saw, but they denied her.
Really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, which is honestly, and I don't know why it's surprising, but it's surprising to me because I was like, I thought she had a pretty good momentum going on that. Like, she had a whole documentary.
That is surprising. Right. Now, we really did gloss over that segue that you just made.
Brittany,
I couldn't let that.
Brittany, it's the same thing. Britain.
Yeah. But I guess we'll have to wait and see how that story develops.
Evolves. The story I wanted to talk about, I don't know why I made that segue when we weren't going to get into that story.
Yeah.
I was like,
I didn't even know that
moment,
happened, so.
the moment is there. Cannes is officially happening. Not too far away from you now that I think about it. It's just like, it is really, you're in the same country. But there's this headline from Variety that is, Cannes launches with COVID confusion and disgusting saliva tests that require festival goers to spit in a tube. And apparently, look, this is news to me. There's just like a lot of people just aren't happy about this, about spitting in a tube.
I love spitting in a tube. I don't know what they're complaining about.
Couldn't produce enough saliva. What does it say?
Wait, that's a quote from someone?
Yeah. I think from the intern
I
who's
couldn't
there.
produce enough saliva.
It says, it was difficult for me, Wilson says. I couldn't produce enough saliva.
Yeah.
She estimated that she had to spit more than 15 times before she'd collected enough of a sample, which I wanted to bring this because that was an issue for me whenever I had to do the spit sample. But I was going to like, what was your, this is stupid now that I'm saying it out loud. What was one of your favorite ways of testing for COVID, Jeff? Like, what were some of your favorite methods?
I never had the spit one.
Okay. That's
the thing is that I mean, I've only had to do like a spitting in a tube thing one time. And it was unrelated to COVID. I just like spitting in a tube. It was more to test myself, you know?
It was a spit in the tube competition.
Yeah.
Between me and my buds. So
I'm the Joey Chestnut of spitting in a tube. Anyways, the only one I had was the old swab up the nose, touching your skull from the inside.
Yeah. Did you do it that often? Because you were like staying at your parents'. Like, did you have to?
No, I didn't. I literally only did it like once or maybe twice. And then I also had one that before I came here, because it was like very ambiguous whether or not, because like they moved the U.S. from France's like orange list to their green list like a week before I came. So just in case, I still got tested before I came here, even though obviously I'm fully vaccinated, which was like part of the deal anyways. But I did it at CVS, and the person just gives me a swab, and they're like, "Yeah, just do it yourself." Yeah. So
that's what I've always done. I've gone to the CVS.
You never had anyone do it for you?
No, I've had people do it for me. I've done every type. I've done mail-ins. I've done spit at the site. I've done the nose. I did some other. Oh, I did the coughing. For some, I don't know where I coughed. Oh, it was the swab, and you're like, you cough, and then they swab the gums. You know, that was That was like last July. I don't think they did that.
Made up.
It was
I don't think that was a real test. That was just some guy like in an alley.
It literally was in an alley. I did it in an alley, and it was really weird.
I'll test you for COVID.
They line you up, and they put everyone in a circle outside, and there's some guy in the middle who poor guy to be in the middle of like 15 people coughing. Yeah, and he's just like, but yeah, it's like you all get in a circle and cough. Which, looking back at it, did not seem that safe. I'm like, we're all coughing on each other right now, and then you swab it, put it in a bag, and
they just get 20 people to cough at each other, and they're like, okay, so you probably have COVID because you just coughed in a giant cough circle.
They're like, so we know all 15 of you now have the virus.
We weren't sure before, but now we
want to make sure you're all here together so we can just make this very simple. Anyways. They said,
wait, why were you tested so often?
A lot of it was because I lived in Chicago, but would want to visit home. And because I would like stay very close to my bubble, it's like anytime I broke the bubble, I'd have to get tested and come back into the bubble.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which really sucked because it's like I'd visit home and then come back here and then be quarantined for like 7 days, and then you take the test because it apparently takes a while to get into your body or whatever. And then I had to wait until I got the test back. So I just didn't see my friends for like a week and a half, which looking back at it felt excessive, but at the time felt reasonable and like what they were telling you to do. And yeah, I don't know. I was doing my best. But yeah, I was just bringing it up. According to the latest rules, non-European attendees at Cannes will need to be tested for COVID every 48 hours to enter the Palais, which is the biggest like venue there.
Mm-hmm. Now, isn't a friend of the podcast Lance Oppenheim at Cannes?
He might be. I follow him on Instagram.
So,
I think he's at Tribeca, but he might be at Cannes now. Friend of the pod, Ayanna Murray.
I might just be spreading rumors. Oh yeah.
Cannes.
Oh, Ayanna Murray is.
She is. She is at Cannes. I think she's the only person I know at Cannes. I don't know a lot of people that got to go. Well, oh no, there's these two YouTubers. Oh, and the people we were both on their podcasts, Cinefleck, Ethan and Clara from Cinefleck.
Yeah.
They're at Cannes, I think.
Really?
Or Ethan is, at least. Ethan's been texting me.
Wow.
But shout out to the Cinefleck podcast. Good people. But yeah, I wish I was at Cannes. But Jeff and I will hopefully be at TIFF. So
yeah, hopefully.
We'll organize a little like fan meetup in Toronto if we end up doing that.
Yeah, I did.
We'll
I
definitely
applied
be
for
there.
the.
You applied for press?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I gotta do it.
Right?
I was gonna remind you. Yeah, but I haven't done it yet. Wait, did you apply this year or did you do it last year?
No, I applied this year.
Oh, you did it? Okay, wow.
I think so.
Gotta step on that. Yeah.
I mean, even if I don't get press, I still was gonna try to go.
Yeah.
I was assuming I wasn't gonna get press because.
Yeah. Honestly, trust me, the pod will get us in.
And also it'd be funny to like hear if it's a legitimate podcast. Someone's listening to this episode.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we'll get in. They're like, no, you won't.
Someone at TIFF is like, all right, yeah, we're not gonna. Yeah. No, we'll be fine.
Like we were gonna let him in, but his hair was not doing well.
We don't want to like spread whatever he's got going on in case it's contagious.
His hair looks dead like a plant.
Yeah. Looks flammable, just really dry.
Yeah, we gotta. We don't need to test him for COVID. We need to test his hair for flammableness.
Yeah.
Gotta test his hair for asbestos.
For any, yeah.
Or is asbestos? Is the deal with asbestos is that it's not flammable, but it's poisonous?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy today.
Yeah, I think that might be it. I think that the reason they used it in construction was that it wasn't flammable.
Yeah,
but it turns out it's poisonous.
Poisonous. That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's what our official position is as the Karstcast is on.
Isn't
what
it really
asbestos
itchy,
is.
or am I thinking of a different thing?
I think you're thinking of fiberglass.
Yep, I'm thinking of fiberglass. Yeah. Okay.
the Karstcast building material cast.
Learn a thing.
Yeah, I touched fiberglass once on accident. It was in a door at Cinespace.
Oh, how was
it's
that?
Like exposed fiberglass. Oh, it's like you get stabbed with a bunch of stuff and you're like, oh, I guess I gotta pick this out of my hand.
Ow. Wait, are we thinking of the same thing? Fiberglass?
It's like the pink stuff.
Yeah, you touched that. Ow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Not on purpose.
No, yeah, but yeah. Okay.
I don't know why I had to clarify it wasn't on purpose. It's like I don't know why you're like, Jeff touched fiberglass on purpose.
Yeah.
Anyways,
like,
you
definitely
not
not getting press now. Yeah, let's get into the movie. Okay, this week we're speaking of not moving suddenly around fiberglass. This week we're talking about No Sudden Move. This is a 2021 film directed by Steven Soderbergh. It's like the 5th movie he's done in the last like 2 years.
Soderbergh?
Is it Soderbergh?
Briscoe.
Yeah, that guy. Wait, let me just double. Is his name Soderbergh?
Yeah.
Or is it Okay, Soderbergh.
You were.
You made me overthink that. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And it's about in 1954 Detroit, small-time criminals are hired to steal a document. When their heist goes horribly wrong, their search for who hired them and for what purpose sends them wending through all echelons of the race-torn, rapidly changing city. I think that's the first time I've said echelon out loud.
Echelon.
Really crazy. Echelon. Yeah, that's how it's. Yeah, it was like something.
Did you also say wending?
Oh no, it sends them. Yeah. Wait. How do you pronounce Wending? Wending. Wending.
That's a word?
Yeah. Okay. Because at first I was like, it should be like winding, right?
That's what I
something.
thought.
I'm
That
gonna
would
look
make
up
sense.
wending because I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
what
not
does
gonna
wending
even.
mean?
Okay, wend. Go in a specified direction, typically slowly or by an indirect route. Yeah, that's the
What?
thing. Wending. Okay,
That's a
cool. I'm not
word?
alone because I read that and I stopped for a second. I was like, hold on, what?
I have never heard that word before.
Yeah, yeah. So like I said, this is like Steven Soderbergh. I think this is our first Steven Soderbergh movie on this podcast, which is crazy
Possibly.
because he's put out a lot of movies. And something I've just realized, I've watched a few of his like recent stuff. I watched Let Them All Talk, and I guess Unsane's not recent. I watched something else by him, but he's a director that I respect, and I think he's very interesting. I like his style, I guess, sort of, but I don't think his movies most of the time are for me, with the exception of like a few, because I really like Ocean's 11, and Magic Mike is fine, but that's the thing. I feel like most of his movies are just like very bland. I don't know. It's not they're not bland, but I feel like watching one of his movies is like eating a dish, like when you were little and like a sibling made something, like cooked something for you, and like pasta. You're like, "Oh, they made pasta." And it's like, yeah, it's pasta, but there's something missing about it. It's like not the real deal. And that's how I feel when I'm watching Steven Soderbergh movies. There's like something missing that
Okay, I agree with that somehow. I don't know how I can agree with that, but I do. Like, I know what you mean, even though it barely makes sense.
I feel like that's how most people look at my YouTube presence. They're like, oh, I guess I agree with him, but that was the ridiculous take. Yeah.
No, but it's also like kind of profound, you know? Like, it sounds dumb, but it's actually a genius take.
Thank you.
Now, I want to say that I don't understand food very well. So I did not like conceptually understand that you can like, after you start eating something, you can add other stuff to it to make it taste different.
Yeah, like salt. And,
Yeah. I didn't do that until like the last 2 years.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said it's like
this
when
isn't very good, and then I keep eating it.
you're like, I guess it's like edible.
Yeah, I'm like, it could be worse.
Yeah.
Could
Yeah. That I still don't understand food, for the record. I'm very unfamiliar with the whole spice rack. I don't know what to choose there. But anyways,
But back to the
back to the
film.
movie.
Yeah, okay, before we get into anything else, the number one thing that stuck out to me
yeah.
was that weird lens.
Yeah, it's a very wide lens.
The super wide, like, fisheye thing.
Totally.
I hate that lens. That was terrible.
It didn't work for me either.
You know what it felt like? It felt like I was watching the whole movie through, like, you know, the little peephole on doors?
Oh my God, yeah.
That's what it looked like. It felt like.
Yeah. It just didn't, and there was nothing about the movie that made that essential to it, you know? There was never a point where I was like, oh, that's why they're doing this. It was just like,
yeah.
Because he always does like these really wide shots, but he never shoots on a lens like this that I know of. I haven't seen all of his movies, but it just felt unnecessary.
Yeah. I wonder if it was like an antique lens, where it was like a lens from the time period.
For the 50s.
So he's like, it'd be cool if I shoot with a 50s lens.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't like it because it was so distracting. I'm like, so whenever because they did all these tracking shots with it, where someone would like walk across a room.
Yep.
And then as you're like following the person, you see on the side of the screen that like it's like all like warpy on the sides.
Yeah. That was the
so then I wouldn't even watch
shot.
the person. Yeah, I wouldn't even watch the person walking. I'd just be like, wow, the sides of the frame are real weird.
That lamp looks different. Yeah.
It's like, wow, that lamp just got really big for a second.
Now it's really small. Yeah. it was weird. That's the thing. That's why I said I respect him, but I don't know if I like his work, because it's like he'll try shit like that. Like, he was just clearly like trying some new shit out with that lens, because he's like shot on an iPhone twice, and both of those he managed to make it look pretty good. But this was, I don't know what this was. Wasn't great though.
Honestly, the whole look of the film, again, I get it's a period piece. Yeah, it's clearly a lot of deliberate choices there. I thought it was kind of an ugly film.
Really? Like, I didn't like the lens, but I thought there were some really nice shots.
I didn't like the color palette either.
Color palette could have been better. Yeah, it was just very dark green and orange.
Yeah, a lot of dark green. I think that the look of the film, I was much harsher because I was so aware of it, because he kept going back to that lens. Yeah. So I will say that one lens is probably influencing my entire opinion on how the film looked, because I was hyper aware of the frame every time, because I kept thinking to myself, is this next shot gonna be that stupid lens again?
Yeah. And it was every shot.
Using that lens, like it's like, yeah, they, you a few shots of a normal lens, and then you're like, oh, back to the weird warpy lens.
Yeah. It's true. It does like take you out of the movie, to be honest, because so much of it is like, that's what I don't get, is like one of the most suspenseful scenes. Most of the scenes really is like about characters being trapped in rooms and like not knowing what's going to happen next. And when you make the lens and the look so wide, I don't know. In my opinion, I just never felt like tense or that I could fully invest myself in the scenes, because I was like, this looks weird. Yeah. And I can see the other side of the room when we're over here, and I'm just like, that doesn't not enhance what you're trying to do here.
You're like planning escape routes for the character.
Yeah. I'm like, well, over there.
I'm like, that side of the room wide open, buddy.
If only you could see this lens.
That's a good point though. Because the acting in this film is incredible.
For the most part, yeah.
Okay, I want to say honestly, I'm mainly, when I say that, I like Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle is okay. That's so true. There are some phenomenal performances, and there are some god awful ones. Don Cheadle is one of the best ones.
I want to hear who you think. Honestly, that is what I meant by this, because
him and Benicio del Toro were both great
as those. Yes.
Yep.
Now continue with your thing.
I love both of these people. I want the best for them in their future careers. But Brendan Fraser,
he was terrible. Okay, yeah, I was gonna get to that.
He's very clearly, because we're going through like a Brendan Fraser like resurgence right now. He's coming back, but he's clearly very rusty.
There's no I in his last name, so it has to be Fraser. But
Fraser, half the people say Fraser, yeah,
but it has to be Fraser, right?
It's got to be Fraser. Yeah, I don't know why we would say Brendan Fraser, but.
And I know I've said it that way too, and I'm like, wait a second. But okay, that's one of the two bad ones. Now, I have one that I thought was pretty bad as well.
Okay, let's see if you say this one, and I'll see if I agree. I think we know
Matt Damon.
Oh, Matt Damon was not that bad. I'm not gonna lie. I think I was just happy because usually I don't like a Matt Damon cameo, but this one kind of worked for me. I was like, I fully did not expect him to be in this, and that kind of rode it for me. Why don't you like Matt Damon's performance?
It just felt I don't know. It felt Matt Damon-y. Like
it did feel Matt Damon-y. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like Matt Damon. It didn't feel like I was watching a real character. You know what I mean? Like, totally. I don't know. I feel like for cameos, when you just get introduced this person like way into the film, and then you're like, oh, that's Matt Damon. It's just hard. I can't some people can get over that easily. Yeah. I think I'm not one of those people.
Something I noticed is there's an actor. I have a whole thing to go off on about this, but there's an actor who is like a more likable Matt Damon, and I think that's Paul Rudd. I think Paul Rudd is just a much more likable version of whatever. And that said, I did watch the Mac and Me clips after the last episode, and they're so funny. It is such a good bit. He does it like 7 separate times, and it gets me every time.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
The best was when he was doing Ant-Man, because it was like a Marvel
Yeah.
one. Did you see that one?
Yeah,
Where he's he's like, Marvel wouldn't let me do it.
And
then
it
he still
looks
does.
like an Ant-Man thing up until...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, great clips. But anyways, the person I was going to say was Julia Fox, who from Uncut Gems, now kind of like breaking out into these other roles. I get that her character was supposed to be this like kind of ridiculous character, kind of like an old school vibe, but she was just not good.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I had that big an issue. Honestly, Brandon Fraser was really the only one that was like
pretty bad.
so bad.
I think it was because
and I want someone, because now I feel like I kind of forgot that was one of my talking points when I said the acting was phenomenal. And I was always going to talk about Brendan Fraser, because when he's right at the beginning of this film, and I was like, oh, I hope he's good, because he hasn't been in stuff, and then he was not good.
No, I feel like everyone had the same reaction with this movie, where they're like secretly kind of rooting for Brendan Fraser. It's like you're watching your kid or something, and the whole time I was just like, God. Oh no.
Yeah.
He's really not bringing it home, is he?
It's like when your kid's in a play, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said, like, I was using an analogy of something that we're extrapolating that experience from other things, but we don't have that experience.
We don't
I don't know
have
why
kids.
I use that as the analogy.
Don't have
like,
kids.
it's like when my kid's in a play. Yeah, but it's what I guess I imagine that's like.
Yeah. Certainly felt like that.
But I don't get why. I mean, I guess I understand that you're like, okay, this happens with a lot of like actors from other things you try. Like Bill Murray, right? Made that conversion from comedic person to like serious actor.
Yeah.
And Bill Murray is phenomenal at acting.
Yeah.
So I guess I could see how you would see the Looney Tunes back in action guy and the Mummy guy, who was like a great, comedic action star.
Yeah.
As like in these semi-campy performances. And then you try to... But the problem is, it turns out Brendan doesn't have that range.
No, David Harbour, Stranger Things.
David Harbour, yeah.
He was pretty good. I can't separate him from
I can't either. I was going to say he just played like a less in control version of that guy.
Yeah.
Because he still yells in the same way. Because, in Stranger Things, he has that like classic like yell that he does.
Yeah.
When he's like angry.
Yeah.
He still does it. That's his thing.
It's classic David. Yeah, I think that's about it for the acting. The thing is, like, it has, like, such a great cast. Like, that's most of the reason I watch this. Oh, yeah. Fucking Kieran Culkin, who,
yeah.
I'm just, fresh off Succession, I'm obsessed with him already. He's not acting that much different than he does in Succession here, but I thought he was great, because he was, like, this perfect, like, slime ball. Yeah, you should watch. They just dropped the season 3 teaser today. I'm so excited. Yeah, but he was great. It was just like there was this huge cast, and nobody besides Don Cheadle really got to like, or Benicio del Toro, like nobody really got to like get into their performances. Ray Liotta was great. Ray Liotta was perfectly casted for the record. But yeah, Jesus, it's a very stacked movie. But I guess it reminded me a lot of, this is the easiest way to talk about this. It reminded me a lot of No Country for Old Men.
I was literally
you were going to say that. Yeah. I feel like, but not as good.
Right.
Just because, like, it was just, like, it was missing whatever that movie did really well. And, yeah.
I mean, use normal person lenses. I think that was one step that...
they could have done, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's just like a lot of it was so close to being like a great movie and just came out kind of fine.
How do you feel about and I guess at some point we're going to have to get into some spoilers, but I guess not yet. How did you feel about the script?
I don't know. My thing about the script, what are you talking about specifically?
So the way it's written, of course, is like this type of film. There's lots of like twists and turns.
Yeah.
And like things flipping around.
Yeah.
I felt like there was too much of that.
Yeah, 100%. Because it's like, because I thought that one twist would like catapult us into this whole sequence of events in the movie, but then like three other twists happen that make it way too hard to like grasp everything that's happening.
And I don't like movies where they add so many twists that the audience can't conceivably guess what's gonna happen. I feel like I should at least get a shot to like think I know what's happening, but on this I'm like, they just twisted me out of even having a chance of like knowing what's going on until they tell me.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I feel like this movie starts off assuming the audience knows everything about this movie and this world and these characters, and we don't. And I'll admit, I got very confused many times during this movie. I was like, I don't know what's... And, I thought it was just me. Yeah. Both my parents agreed. But, it's just, like, too many twists to, like, I guess, grasp onto, in my opinion. I might be alone there, though. I
also, very stupidly, I wish that I had, like, a concept of the amounts of money they were talking about in terms of today dollars.
Yeah, because...
It's right? Like, that was one thing I was like, okay, wait, how much would that be today? Like...
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Because I was like, that's a lot even by today's standards, some of the money they were talking about. So I was thinking the same thing. It's like, that must be a lot of money.
Must be nice.
Must be nice, yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. There's like some cool things to say about, I guess, neither of us are smart enough to get into like the bigger themes of this movie. I feel like unless you have something to say about it, but I'm like
nail in the head, not smart enough.
I'm just like, I'm not as invested in this story or the history that's a part of it to really like, get into it. Because I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what this movie wants me to get out of it or what it wants to be.
It really felt like it was just a movie with a bunch of twists for the sole purpose of like entertainment, and I couldn't really figure out any kind of broader theme. And a lot of it's because there's so many characters that we're introduced to, and you don't even really like, you obviously know whose side you're on, but it's just you don't get to know the characters quite well enough, I feel like. Like even Don Cheadle's character, by the end of the film, I'm like, I mostly know this guy.
Right, but I'm not.
But the main thing I know is like, oh, he's the good guy.
Yeah, I wasn't like, part of me was like, okay, good, he made it out. But I'm also like...
So that's a spoiler.
Yeah, that is... Well, we've...
we were talking... And that was the first very specific thing we said that was a spoiler. So I just mean, like, other things you could conceivably...
I'm going to cut that. I'm just going to bleep it, I think. And we're going to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Those who know, though. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. I will say, I feel like this is one of the better... I didn't love this movie, but I do think it's like one of the better things Steven Soderbergh has done recently. Because I feel like everything he's done, like, and I liked Let Them All Talk, but it's all just been like a come and go movie where it's like you watch it and I'm like, cool, that held my attention, never gonna think about it again. And this one, also not something I'm gonna think about that often, but I'm also like, that felt like he was getting somewhere with it. Not the way he did Ocean's 11, but I know that's just a different beast altogether.
So this film reminded me of when I saw Motherless Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's just like a medium level, like, period piece that I felt like the story didn't need to be a period piece.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what really was added to this, like, with it being a period piece.
I feel like there was I will defend this movie and say, like, the period added something to it, because I feel like part of this movie's thing was, like, there was, like, some racial tension in there, and also, like, the automobile advancements or whatever. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I don't know
was
what
like
all that was
obviously
about.
The broader story,
Yeah.
like it had to take place then because it was vaguely about automobile
Yeah.
advancement.
I agree, though. Didn't really use the period piece thing to its full advantage.
Yeah, they didn't even go into like a 50s bar.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like, you know, I don't know.
Wasn't even
it
in
didn't
black
really
and
feel
white.
that 50s.
Yeah.
Wasn't even in black and white. Like, what are they
Right.
doing? Didn't they know we didn't have color back then? Come on, Steven.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah. Well, that's about all I gotta say about it for now. I feel like we've talked about it a good amount.
Yeah. What do you think the title means?
No sudden move. I think it. Is that a serious question, or I just
I just wanted to hear what you would
I don't actually know what the title.
I'm guessing it's just because like when someone points a gun at you, they're like no sudden moves, or they shoot you.
Yeah. Well, that was my first instinct. Yeah, but you could read into cars. That's a part of the movie. Maybe you don't want to move the car.
Like if you move suddenly in a car, you're causing emissions that the catalytic converter helps mitigate.
Yeah. That was exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. That's what Steven Soderbergh would have wanted you to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. What do you?
I mean, I guess the last thing I'm gonna say is that the only theme out of this is something to do with like trust, right? Like that's something about that
and not moving.
And not moving. It's like you have to trust that if you don't move, it's something.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say this because I wanted this to be my Letterboxd review. I was just gonna call this "No Sudden Moves for Old Men." Cause
that's good,
right? Yeah, but I couldn't.
Yeah, that was better than my Letterboxd review.
It's honestly better than
mine was bad.
No, yours was good. I haven't seen yours, but I.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. I might have talked. It was mainly just a dumb comment about that lens.
Oh yeah.
Which
people do not like the lens. The other reviews I've read, friend of the pod Demi,
good. I didn't read
also
any of
bashed the lens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I gave this a 3.5.
That's what I gave it because it was like it would no way it's any better than that for me.
It's no better, and it's honestly no worse. I feel like it's just smack dab 3.5.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's slightly better than Motherless Brooklyn. So it's like if Brooklyn had a mother.
Yeah. Mother.
And also
Brooklyn.
it was
Motherly.
Yeah,
Brooklyn.
it's like but then also it was in Detroit. So it's like
Motherly Detroit.
Detroit.
Yeah.
And that's what the title should have been.
Yeah, that's the takeaway.
Detroit's mother.
Detroit.
There you go.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's get into questions.
Yeah. I'm ready for questions. I actually love questions.
Q&A is my favorite part of the podcast, to be honest.
Yeah.
These come from the subreddit, nothing from Patreon. I would like to say, and I know we have to say this often, but that second bonus ep for the Patreon for June is coming.
Yeah.
Jeff and I are clearly just like, it's pretty hard to schedule these days with everything going on in each of our lives.
But it will be very soon.
It's going to be coming soon, yeah. But these come from the subreddit, r/Karstcast. And this first one comes from Gay Annabeth. And it's, what type of car would you be in the Cars 2006 universe? Now, I don't know if you're just asking what kind of car in general, or if you're trying to get us to pick a specific car from Cars, like one of the characters. Like, for example, I would be Tow Mater. I wouldn't be, but for example, that would be an answer to this. I would not be, no. That's an example.
Who would I be?
Well, I think I'm just going to go the route that I originally thought this was about, which was, what car would you be? Not a car in Cars universe.
Okay, we'll do
Unless we're just not answering the question then. But, because I don't know all the Cars characters is the thing.
I don't either. I have to look them up. I think if I was going to be one of the characters, I'd be like one of the other race cars.
Yeah.
Like the ones that aren't
Really?
Lightning McQueen.
You think you're a race car?
I would just be like but like one of the mid-level ones. Like I'm not going to win the race, but I'm not going to come in last.
Right. I respect that. I think
Yeah,
I would
probably a blue one.
I'd be one of those like helper cars, the ones that like work in the shop and like help out the.
You'd be an ambulance.
No, definitely not an ambulance. I would tighten the wheels, you know.
Yeah.
But as far as an actual car, you'd probably be a Cube, right? Because
A Nissan Cube.
Nissan Cube. No, you know what? You give off like a Jeep. I feel like you'd be a Jeep as a car.
Yeah, I'll take that.
You have like this tall.
I mean, I don't know if I'm quite that rugged, but
No. But you'd be a Jeep. You
be
go
a Range
places.
Rover.
You can go off the grid. Yeah, your range.
yeah.
I
I
think
rode ranges.
I would say I fit a Mini Cooper. I feel like I look like my car. You know.
I mean, you do have a Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
I've been in it. It's very nice.
You have been it. I drove
Yeah.
you to Panda Express, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
Which that tracks for anyone.
Actually, anyways, this next one comes from Tom Liked Beans, and it is worst dining experience, like when you're on a night out and maybe the food's really late or it's undercooked.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? There's been a couple times when I've had undercooked chicken.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
I think like twice ever. And then like obviously you send that back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you know what? It's actually funny that it just reminded me that because I had this whole story about how I got food poisoning at a Chili's.
I just remembered we have answered this question already.
Yeah, no, we have, and I talked about that, but that just reminded me that I had at a different Chili's undercooked chicken. I don't know why I keep going to Chili's. What is wrong with me?
You got to stop going to Chili's. That's just really two times. Wow.
But my brother keeps getting free merch though, so I can't.
So you gotta.
I gotta keep
can't
supporting.
Deny that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I realized halfway through you saying that I literally asked this exact question.
Yeah,
like 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Or 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
So I was like, wait.
And that reminded me I had another answer.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna skip over that one actually.
Yeah.
Glad we got a Jeff bit out of it. This last one then comes from Mylene, and it is: do you guys read? If so, what are you currently reading, and or have any good book recommendations?
I don't read a lot of books. I read a lot of like medium like articles of things.
Yeah. That's reading, you know.
But yeah, so I subscribe to The Athletic, which is like a sports.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a subscription article thing.
How are
It's
the
kind of
Lightning
replacing,
doing, by the way?
The Lightning are 1 win away from winning the Stanley Cup.
Wow.
They almost closed it out, but they lost in overtime to make the series 3-1 Montreal. So they almost swept them, but they didn't. So they seem to win one of the next 3 games, and they win the Stanley Cup.
Hell yeah. Go Lightning.
Now,
right?
Yeah. Now, I would have hoped they won last night when they lost because as being in France, the games start at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So I have to watch them. Which, well, yeah, it's not today though. But when the days they are on, I have to stay up until 5 a.m. to watch the game.
Jeff, Jesus Christ, that is painful.
Yeah, it's not great. So that's what I was really hoping they were gonna just win in 4, but that didn't quite happen.
Didn't happen. No. Damn. All right. Wait. Oh yeah. So for books, I need to refill my water. I just finished. I also don't read that often, but I did pick this on a good week. I just finished John Green's new book. It's a nonfiction one called The Anthropocene Reviewed. And I know it's like cringy to say you read John. I've never read his like actual like Fault in Our Stars and stuff. I haven't ever read those, but this one's really good. I really like it. He just reviews different things. It's really interesting. And I'm currently reading The Culture of Narcissism by Christopher Lasch, and it's just a heavy book. I don't know if I'm taking in everything he's saying, but having a good time with it. So trying to get back into reading,
Yeah,
so all my friends are really into
wish-
reading, and they're kind of trying to push me. So
Yeah, I wish that it was easier for me to read than it is, but I always have like issues like just sitting down and reading something for too long a time. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a go though at some point.
yeah, why not? Cool. Man, we're gonna finish this up so I can go refill my water.
Yeah, and I can.
Jeff
I
can go to
gotta just
bed.
finish my bresh cola and go to sleep.
Does that have sugar in it? Like, is it?
Oh, of course. No, it's literally just a cola. Yeah. I'm drinking it at 3 a.m. right now.
It's 3 a.m.
Yeah.
All right. Jesus, my hair.
I'm gonna brush those teeth, then go to bed.
Yeah. Well, let's finish this up. We like to read a review because we love hearing what you guys have to say about the podcast. This one comes from Rocky Rules 69 from Australia. 5 stars, and it's a nice one. It goes. Came to listen to this podcast from knowing Karsten from YouTube. Kept coming back and listening to it weekly because of how enjoyable it is to listen to Jeff and Karsten talk about films, and sometimes go off into a tangent about fast food places, sports, and other random stuff. Overall, really good podcast to listen to on a drive, and love how Karsten and Jeff sound like genuinely nice people who would be great to hang out and chat with. Thank you, Rocky Rules.
That's very nice. I like that.
Very
review
nice.
A lot.
Yeah, thank you so much. Cool.
The tangent thing made me like. So we've talked briefly before about the podcast for going to sleep.
Yeah.
And I know you've like listened to it sometimes where it's mainly this guy who just goes off on tangents.
Yep.
That's his whole bit.
It's so big.
And I realized we
That's
kind
us.
of do what he does. Where he never really completes a full thought. He just keeps like evolving a sentence into various things to help you go to sleep. And yeah, you know what? Maybe we are good for going to sleep too. I was wrong all along.
No, I don't take it as a diss. I don't take offense to it. I think I'm proud that we can provide some good. We are the last thing a lot of people follow.
Good service.
Yeah. People start and end their days with us. Which speaking
in the middle
of
their day, they're watching your video essays.
Yeah. Speaking of, now that the campaign is over, that plushie severely undersold. Underperformed like crazy. So thanks to anyone who did buy one. But just wanted to make that very clear.
I'm gonna be honest, I actually meant to buy one, and then with all like the traveling, I forgot to.
It's okay. My mom.
So I apologize for that. I did mean to buy one.
It's all
and
good.
I didn't.
I don't know how it works, to be honest. I don't know if they're just not going to make any of those now. I hope people that bought one end up getting one, but yeah. Next, we want to announce the next movie for next week. And Jeff, I have 2 options, neither of which are relevant at all, but they are very popular, very beloved movies that both of which I haven't seen, and both of which I think people would respond really well to. One of them is Dead Poets Society. Never seen it before. I know you have. So we could watch that for my first time, or we could watch Paris, Texas, which I've heard people have recommended it to me like 1,000,000 times, and we could just check that out. I'm gonna let
Dead Poets Society is heavy.
All right.
That's the only thing I will say about it. That's it.
Is it really heavy?
Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say about it because
All
it's
right. It's
a fantastic movie.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you choose. I'm fine for either.
Okay. Would you be comfortable with Paris, Texas? It is.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
a little on the long side, but I've just heard it's really good, and it looks like it could be kind of fun to talk about. It's like 2 hours and 20. Okay.
Perfect. Let's do it.
All right. Then next week we're talking about Paris, Texas. It's available on HBO Max or the Criterion Channel. And I think one other, it might be on Prime too. It's available all over the place, but it's, I'm sure a lot of people will be very happy that I'm finally watching it. Cool. And lastly, we want to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/Karstcast. If you're looking for a great way to support the show, that's the place to go. As a rhyme. It's we have a huge backlog of bonus episodes, and we continue to put them out. We're hopefully going to put one out pretty soon. And we also have monthly Zoom Hangouts where you can come and chat with us and also play GeoGuessr. And you get shout-outs at the end of every episode, which I'm about to do. So head on over to patreon.com/Karstcast. And thank you to, as it loads, stalling. I really should have these pulled up beforehand. Thank you, Antonio DeMarco, Ben Chow, Blake Root, Boyoyoyoy, Brandon Yu, Brock Schultz, Camilla, Chuck the Duck, Corella for Best Picture, Daniel Cook, David Sir, Eden, Gavin Henderson, Grant Gow, Harry Remedianakis, I Don't Live in Ohio, Iva, Jaden Easton, Jacob Colness, John Van Hout, Jordan Hill, Judy S. KDT, Kaylee Patney, Liv Rob, Lukewarm, Martin Deff, Mary Lee Borslow, Meridian, Michael Rennie, Monroe Page, Nora B, Parks, Riley Ost, Skylar Ermel, Sophia Arieta, Stella Perry, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, Smitty Werbin, Jagerman Jensen, The Monopoly Man, Tom Likes Beans, Vegard Strom, Vera S, Wes Kinley, Xavier Fossier, Youssef A, and Zoe Hernandez McDonald. Thank you, lovely patrons.
Thank you,
for
patrons.
all of the support.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I gotta finish this bottle of. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go to sleep. All right. Well, do you have anything else?
I don't.
I don't either. So we will
catch you on
the flip side.
Catch you on the flip side.
Flip side.